Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back for part two. This is part two. If you missed the first video, go back and watch the intro. This is part two of our Tumbler course for the xTool P2s, how to engrave those tumblers, and really everything from basic to pro level about the process. So in this video, what we're going to talk about are the different types of tumblers that you'll be engraving, what some terminology means when I refer to it, and how to know what type of tumblers you have, and therefore how to set that up on the laser, and really what settings to use in the software. So let's start with basically comparing these different types of tumblers, and we'll start with the most probably common, which is going to be your 40-ounce dupe tumblers. Now, these are not branded. However, they are very similar to the shape and style of the Stanley branded tumblers. You'll see these being sold everywhere. I have a bunch of sources for these, which again, I will include in the description below. When you visit my website, there's a link to get to some suppliers that I use that I have great experiences with, and also some discounts for those suppliers. So let's get into talking about what this tumbler is and what terminology I may use to refer to it as. So technically, this is a 40-ounce powder coated, plated, tapered tumbler. So a few things there. Powder coated, that's referring to the outside coating. So this is a powder coat finish. That's going to be the most common you're going to find on these tumblers probably that you're engraving. Tapered just means that it's not completely the same size all the way around. So the circumference varies from top to bottom and it tapers down into that. So as opposed to something that's flat, which I'll show in a minute, this one has a different circumference at the bottom than the top. So it is a tapered tumbler. And what I mean when I say plated is that the finish is not plain stainless steel. So this metal has been plated at the factory with a gold finish, and that's how you get the gold engraving when you remove the powder coat that's on top of that. So again, this is a powder coated, tapered, plated 40-ounce tumbler, 40 ounce just being the capacity, I'm sure you know. And this is probably the most common size of tumbler. You can get different finishes on these. The plating could be gold, it could be rainbow, it could be chroma, it could be black, it could be copper, it could be blue, right? It could be a blue-green mix. There are so many different platings here. We have a ton of them. We have about 800 tumblers in the back that are of various amount of plating and sizes. So that's probably the most popular thing you're going to run across, though, in terms of size. Moving into sort of another one, this is a Stanley branded tumbler. So this is a 40-ounce tapered powder coated tumbler. So no plating. So three of the same adjectives, but not the fourth. This one is, of course, an official Stanley. So these mostly engraved to silver. Stanley has been coming out with a couple ones that engrave to gold and some other colors. So they have a chroma and they have a gold one, for example. And they just came out with a black honey that I engraved the other week that actually looked really great. But most of the Stanleys are silver. However, they're the same shape as the dupes, or very similar shape. And the powder coating on these is the same, if maybe just a tad bit thicker in some cases. But overall, these are the same as the dupes, just a little different in terms of the plating and, of course, the cost. This is another 40-ounce tumbler that is also tapered, but it is not powder coated. So this one is a sublimation coating, technically. It's like a green metallic, very shiny. It's a little thinner than the powder coating, but sometimes you'll get some of these that just require a little bit of a different setting to get through this because they can be kind of reflective. So it's just important to know that this is not a powder coated tumbler, and the difference between a powder coat and a sublimation tumbler, which is what this is coated with. However, these still make for great engravings. This green shimmer was really popular at Christmas. It's like an oil slick metallic green, really cool. They make this in green and red at the place I get the tumblers from, and I had great sales with this through the Christmas season. Next, we'll move on to something flat. So this is powder coated stainless steel, but it's non-tapered. This is actually a 32-ounce Owala dupe. So what you'll notice is it's completely flat on the engraving side, so we won't have to worry about angling it in the machine. And therefore, since we don't have to worry about the angle, we won't have to worry about increasing the power so much to get through the powder coat. This is true for regular branded Owalas as well, though you'll notice the powder coating on the branded Owalas can be a little thicker than on the dupes, or on any other tumbler. I don't know what Owala coats their tumblers with, but it is some serious powder coating. So yeah, that's the difference here. It's still stainless steel. It's not plated though. This engraves to silver. And this is just the only difference between this and the 40-ounce one is one, it's a 32 ounce instead of a 40, and two, it's non-tapered. So it's going to be a flat engraving side. So when we align that, we won't have to do anything crazy with leveling it. It's going to be level when it's flat. This is similar. So this is a 16-ounce can. They come with straws. This is plated gold. So this is a plated 16-ounce. Again, it's flat, so you don't have to worry about it's non-tapered. So it's going to be similar, easy to set up as the Awala, just a different size. And then we'll move into like a 20-ounce. This is technically tapered, right? So the top is bigger than the bottom. However, it's still got a one. You can still make it so that it's flat without any type of different focal length. So it is tapered, but in this one, once you level it, you're level all the way across instead of having to worry about, the bottom still having a different angle, because it does have a way to level this completely out. The settings you can use similar to any of the actual flat non-tapered cups. Even though this technically is tapered, it's able to be made completely flat without any type of dip like the like the 40 ounces. Because even if you angle this to be level in the rotary, which means popping this up about 3 or 4 degrees, you're still going to have parts that are lower and parts that are higher, right? It doesn't allow you to really level that out because of the shape of the cup and how drastic that taper down is. But this one, you can, right? So if I tilt it like this, this is actually going to be the same distance from the laser across the whole thing. Now, this one is a polar camel, so actually it's fluted at the bottom. There are some Stanleys that are fluted vertically. Those you should be able to engrave just fine with normal powder coated settings. But just keep that in mind that this can affect your design at the bottom a little bit. It might not matter for your client, or it might. It just depends on what look they're going for. So think about your engravable area when you're doing this. If they don't want to go over the fluted section, then that reduces your engravable area by about, a fifth of the cup distance. So just keep that in mind when you're measuring, which will be what we talk about next. So, all right, that's pretty much covers all the different types of tumblers and why they matter. In the next video, what we're going to talk about is how to measure those and how to get everything prepared for laser engraving. So again, check out the links in the description. Feel free to join our Facebook group. Check out the resources on our website. And there you can find things like Tumbler templates, settings, and some general helpful information and links to other things and discounts as well. And thanks for tuning into this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one, again, where we talk about measuring those tumblers and how we get those settings and stuff prepared to enter into the tumbler engraving process. I will catch you guys in part 3.